Most manipulation doesn't come from malice. In fact, many women don't even realize they're doing it. But don't be fooled, the consequences are real. They're subtle, they're powerful, and if you don't see them coming, they can erode your freedom, your confidence, and your sense of self without you even noticing. Today, we're diving deep into the psychological tactics women often use, sometimes unconsciously, to gain influence and control in relationships. You've probably felt these before. Maybe you've seen them in action. But if you don't understand what's really going on, you're playing a game you didn't sign up for. So let's pull back the curtain and break it all down. Let's start with the why. Why do these behaviors exist in the first place? Human behavior isn't always conscious or deliberate. A lot of what we're about to discuss comes from deep evolutionary roots, not some sinister plot. Thousands of years ago, women often didn't have the physical strength or societal power men had. To survive, to secure protection resources or commitment, they developed strategies of social influence. These were ways to navigate a world where raw power wasn't on their side. Fast forward to today, and those instincts still linger. They show up in modern relationships through subtle psychological moves, through words, emotions, and behaviors. These tactics aren't always about malice. They're often just learned patterns passed down through culture, media, or upbringing. A woman might not wake up thinking, "How can I control my partner today?" But that doesn't mean the impact isn't real. We're not here to vilify women. We're here to decode these unconscious patterns that shape power dynamics in relationships. Because once you see them, you can't unsee them, and that's where your power begins. Now let's get to the core of it. The 6 psychological tactics women often use to influence and control in relationships. These aren't always intentional, but they're effective, and if you don't recognize them, they can leave you feeling lost, confused, or even trapped. First up, using affection as currency. You've probably experienced this when she goes cold, stops being warm, or pulls back on intimacy when she's upset. Maybe she gives you the silent treatment, or becomes distant when you don't do what she wants. Psychologically, this taps into a primal fear, the fear of abandonment, especially for guys with anxious attachment styles. Why does it work? Because men crave validation from their partners. When that warmth or affection is suddenly gone, it's like pulling the rug out from under you. You might find yourself bending over backward, compromising your own principles, just to get that connection back. The kicker. She might not even realize she's doing it. It's often a learned behavior, something she's seen work in the past, maybe from watching rom-coms or picking it up from her environment. But intentional or not, it's a power move, and it can leave you chasing her approval. Next, let's talk about weaponizing guilt. You've heard lines like, "If you really loved me, you would've," or, "I guess I'm just not that important to you." These phrases are designed to make you question your own boundaries and choices. They hit you right in the gut, making you feel like you've failed her even when you haven't. The goal, whether she knows it or not, is to shift your priorities to avoid upsetting her. Many women don't consciously plan this. They're often just expressing emotions in ways they've learned from their environment, like family dynamics or media. But the result is the same. You start sacrificing your own needs to keep the peace. Over time, this can erode your sense of self as you're constantly apologizing or adjusting to avoid that sinking feeling of guilt. Then there's gaslighting masculinity. This one's subtle but brutal. It's those little jabs like, "A real man wouldn't act like that," or "You're too weak," or "You need to toughen up." These comments push you to suppress your true emotions to fit some idealized version of masculinity she's holding up. The goal, to mold you into her vision of what a man should be. Over time, this chips away at your confidence and authenticity. You start second-guessing who you are trying to prove you're man enough instead of being true to yourself. It's not always intentional. She might think she's motivating you, but the damage is real and it can leave you feeling like you're never quite enough. Another tactic is creating jealousy to regain control. Maybe she flirts with someone else, casually mentions an ex, or praises another guy in front of you. Sometimes it's not even conscious. She might just be craving attention or testing your reaction. But the effect is the same. It makes you feel insecure, like you're competing for her approval. It's a subtle threat of replacement, pushing you to chase her validation instead of standing firm in your own value. This can turn you into someone who's constantly trying to prove yourself rather than holding your own standards. The worst part? It works because it preys on your natural desire to be chosen. Then there's the tactic of turning every conflict into she's the victim, no matter who started the argument or what it's about. It somehow ends with her saying, "I'm hurt, and you're the one who hurt me." This flips the script, making you feel like you need to apologize, even if you did nothing wrong. It's a way to dodge accountability while putting you on the defensive. Men who are more empathetic or emotionally driven are especially vulnerable to this because they hate seeing their partner upset. Over time, this distorts reality, making you question your own perspective and silencing your ability to stand up for yourself. Finally, there's the test and reward game straight out of behavioral psychology. She might push your boundaries with a sarcastic comment, a dismissive attitude, or a subtle challenge. Then watch how you respond. If you give in, she rewards you with warmth, affection, or approval. If you stand your ground, she might pull back, go silent, or get cold. This conditions you to adjust your behavior to get the reward of her affection. It's like training a pet, except you're the one being trained, and you might not even realize it's happening. Over time, you start self-censoring, avoiding conflict, and changing who you are just to keep her happy. So what's the danger here? These tactics might not always be malicious, but if you don't recognize them, they can destroy who you are. Bit by bit, you change not out of love, but out of fear, guilt, or the need for approval. You lose your boundaries, your identity, and your self-respect. What should be a partnership turns into a performance where you're constantly trying to earn her validation instead of building a real connection. Love stops being about mutual growth and becomes a power struggle you didn't even know you were fighting. So how do you protect yourself? First, knowledge is power. Once you understand these tactics, you can spot them in real time. Don't react emotionally, stay calm and grounded in your values. Set clear boundaries from the start and stick to them no matter how much pressure you feel. Stop seeking validation through pleasing her. Your worth isn't tied to her approval. A man who can't walk away is a man she can't respect. Work on managing your emotions, because if she can control how you feel, she controls you. And surround yourself with strong, grounded men who can help you see your blind spots and keep you accountable. At the end of the day, every manipulation is a silent power negotiation. But a real relationship isn't about winning, it's about understanding and lifting each other up. To build that, you have to see the patterns operating beneath the surface. Know the game or you'll end up being played. If this video opened your eyes to something new, hit that subscribe button for more breakdowns on the psychology of love and power. And drop a comment below. Which of these tactics have you encountered and how did you handle it? Let's start a conversation and help each other grow stronger.